The recent released Interthink's Mortgage Fraud Risk Report for the second quarter of 2011 notes a shift in mortgage fraud risk hotspots and adds non-geographic risk profiling. Welcome to Fraudbytes from Interthinks. Mortgage fraud risk shifted in Q2 with zip codes in Florida experiencing increases as zip codes in the Chicago metro area experienced decreases. For the past 4 quarters, the top spot in the zip code table belonged to either 60636 or 60621, which are adjoining zip codes in Chicago. Kevin Koop, Interthink's president, noted the mortgage fraud risk report has been drawing attention to Chicago for a year, and the recent decrease in mortgage fraud risk in Chicago zip codes was as dramatic as it was sudden. It suggests that when the industry has actionable intelligence and increases its scrutiny of an area, word gets out and the fraudsters move on. Miami now ranks among the top 10 riskiest MSAs for 3 of the 4 type-specific frauds tracked in the report. In the second quarter, Miami was number 1 in identity fraud risk, number 2 in occupancy fraud risk, and number 9 in property value risk. Previous Interthink's mortgage fraud risk reports have described fraud patterns based primarily on geographic characteristics. But with the addition of non-geographic risk profiling, the report now includes selected characteristics relating to the loan, such as purpose and amount, income and FICO score, or relating to the property, such as appraised value and property type. These characteristics can be used to provide additional insights from which to develop actionable intelligence. To download the latest Interthink's Mortgage Fraud Risk Report, simply visit interthinks.com. The Interthink's National Fraud Advisory Council recently held its 5th annual meeting in Rhode Island, and among the more significant developments, attendees noted the support being provided to the industry by the Investigations Office of FHFA's Office of Inspector General in Combating Fraud. The Deputy Director for that office made an appeal to the financial industry for its help in sharing data to aid in finding and reporting fraud. Attendees suggested a best practice for short sales focused on due diligence and servicing. By better identifying risky participants and properties involved in short sale transactions through the use of listing and property transaction history data, high-risk properties can be identified and more due diligence can be done to determine if there is a need to check on appraised value. Interthink's representatives noted that ValueGuard already includes features lenders can use to gain better insight into short sales. In addition, more innovative product development is currently underway here at Interthinks to help lenders limit potential losses. For more, visit the Interthinks website. With us today to discuss outsourced advisory services is Matt Merlone, CFE and Director of Asset Services for Interthinks. Matt, I understand Interthink's Asset Services reviews tens of thousands of loan files per month. What kind of trending is the expert staff seeing?
Interestingly enough, what we're seeing from a lot of these files is we have hardship letters and loss mitigation packages in them that kind of paint a true snapshot of what the borrower's qualifications were as far as income, employment, and assets. And it really bears out the fact that we're seeing loans and products that people really couldn't afford from that aspect when they originally applied.
How are mid-sized lenders meeting requirements for the disclosure of defect rate reporting with the benchmarks of how they've arrived at those rates and what can be done to improve them?
I think this is a situation where arguably in a lot of cases they are not meeting those guidelines. If they do not have the infrastructure for the data aggregation and the reporting, a lot of times they may be falling short or they're still on that long climb to competency.
Where are recent quality initiatives impacting the Interthink's client base most?
I think with some of the smaller mid-sized lenders, I think they're really struggling with the formality of publishing those results from their quality control reviews in an easily consumable manner and kind of aggregating that data.
Matt, I've heard you like to relate risk management to bass fishing. Can you explain that for me?
Yeah, I'm glad actually you asked that question. Fishing has a phenomenon called catch and release, and a lot of times in the old QC world we would find errors and then just not do anything about them, sort of a catch and release mentality. In the other fashion, there's an old adage in fishing that if you caught a fish every time, it would be called catching, not fishing. Well, catching is our business. In the old days, I think there was an awful lot of fishing going on.
With all the new rules and guidelines, Do you have any advice to help lenders with loan delivery confidence and to reduce buyback risk?
Last year about this time, Interthinks had a meeting with the GSEs, and what they were really looking to us for was a partnership solution to enhance quality with some of the smaller and mid-sized lenders and to buttress their internal efforts at QC as we move along this long climb to recovery in the mortgage industry.
To learn more about Interthinks Asset Services, simply visit interthinks.com and click Products and Services. Interthinks has recently mailed the 3rd issue of the Frontline magazine. Developed as a means to prevent mortgage fraud, ensure regulatory compliance, and feed those who are hungry for collaborative solutions, the magazine explores areas of complexity and what future success will require of us all. If you have not received your free copy of the Frontline magazine, simply visit thefrontlinemag.com or contact your Interthinks account representative. That's it for today. Check back for our next Fraudbytes update, where you will hear the latest industry and Interthinks news.